Mark the date down, folks, because this is the day that the Democratic Party absolutely humiliated itself on live television. Now, you really can't make this up. Now, on the one hand, you got Ilhan Omar, the so-called progressive star, air quotes, absolutely melts down on CNN, panicking when pressed about her disgusting comments on Charlie Kirk and facing brand new calls for her deportation. Drop a deportation down below if you think that you're just completely done with Ilhan Omar and that she needs to go. Now, on the other hand, Nancy Pelosi, that's right, guys, the face of Democratic corruption, slurs, stumbles, and she gets heckled through a bizarre speech on the Capitol lawn, leaving Americans completely just wondering, how many drinks did this lady have before walking out there? Was Nancy Pelosi drunk? This is not just embarrassing. It is a double disaster. So for the left, Ilhan Omar, the radical face of open borders, unraveling under pressure. Nancy Pelosi, the queen of insider trading, exposed as a stumbling, incoherent mess in front of the cameras. And all of it is happening while Donald J. Trump sits in the White House, pulling the levers of power, cracking down on corruption, and just watching his opponents just completely collapse in real time. So today, guys, we're going to break down the entire chaos, the panic, and the humiliation that just rocked the Democratic Party to its core. Hit the like button, subscribe. Trust me, guys, once you see how bad this really is, you're going to understand why the establishment is in full-blown panic mode. Now, folks, let's go ahead and set the scene right here, okay? Right here, right now. This is the same week in America, okay? The Democratic Party just put on a performance that's so humiliating, it makes you kind of wonder if they even want to survive another election cycle. On the one side, you got Ilhan Omar live on CNN, unraveling in front of Caitlin Collins, panicking when pressed about that disgusting Frankenstein video. And on the other side, Nancy Pelosi, the face of Democrat corruption, slurring, stumbling, and even getting heckled during a bizarre picnic-style press conference on the Capitol lawn. Total, complete chaos. Now, let's zero in on Omar's meltdown, shall we? Caitlin Collins actually did her job for once and confronted her, asking why she reposted a vile clip comparing Charlie Kirk to Dr. Frankenstein, suggesting his own monster killed him. And what does Ilhan Omar do? Oh, she panics. She doubles down. She lashes out, claiming Charlie Kirk was hateful, claiming he didn't think minorities, Muslims, or women were smart enough. Folks, this was pure desperation, okay? She couldn't defend herself, so she just kept swinging the same tired accusation. You could hear the agitation in her voice, the defensiveness in every answer. Like, imagine, instead of backing off, Omar went deeper into the smear campaign, and it backfired in her face. The more she spoke, the more obvious it became. She couldn't hold her own against Charlie Kirk when he was alive, and now she's trying to win a fight against a man who isn't even here to defend himself. Guys, that ain't strength. That is pure panic. The standard has completely shifted. It used to be rare for people to review their Medicare plan. Now it is the rule, not the exception. This is why I partner with Chapter, folks. They've made reviewing Medicare coverage a normal part of retirement planning. Now, one of our viewers told me, she said, Ron, I thought I was late, but then I found out most of my friends had already called Chapter. So let me ask you, are you going to stay behind the curve, or do you want to do what most people are already doing, catching up? Now, most people, they're calling the phone number at the bottom of your screen right there, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. There's a link down below. Telephone number is 909-563-8279. Oh, and do not forget to ask Chapter about the Medicare Flex card. I was reading how, depending upon your Medicare Advantage plan, you could be missing out on $400 to $1,000 of extra benefits annually. Yeah, you might want to just ask them about that Flex card right quick. Anyway, here's where the Ilhan Omar story really turns from bad to catastrophic, because while she's lashing out on CNN, trying to paint Charlie Kirk as his villain, President Donald Trump, he is tightening the screws. Trump is not mincing words. He called her scum, plain and simple, and reminded America of the long whispered allegations that Ilhan Omar married her own brother to cheat the immigration system and to get into this country. Isn't that completely disgusting? I mean, like, she married her own brother to cheat the immigration system? Under Biden, you could never even say that out loud without being attacked. But under President Trump, it's back on the table. President of the United States is putting Ilhan Omar under the microscope and asking the questions that millions have asked for years. Should she even be here at all, guys? Drop a deport in the comments down below if you think Elon Musk should be deported, because I don't know. Now, it's not just President Trump. Republicans like Nancy Mace, they are openly calling for Omar's citizenship to be revoked and her deportation to be carried out. Now, this is unprecedented, okay? Sitting members of Congress saying it out loud. They're not alone. The grassroots are fired up. The base is demanding accountability, and Omar is watching her political future collapse in real time. Her approval ratings practically non-existent outside of her safe little district in Minnesota. Nationally, Ilhan Omar's, she's a liability. She's dragging her party down at the very moment that they cannot afford another scandal. Now let's go ahead and flip over to Nancy Pelosi, shall we? Because her week really hasn't been any better. She basically waddled out of the Capitol lawn for what she called a picnic presser, but folks, looked more like a parody skit. You know what I'm saying? Something like from SNL. From the moment she opened her mouth, it was a complete disaster. Her words slurred together like she couldn't even keep track of her own sentences. She kept stopping, excuse me, over and over as if she completely lost her place. And then the ultimate gaffe, she called Adam Schiff a staffer, then a senator. Now imagine that, guys. She straight up downgraded her own teammate. This is the woman who once was Speaker of the House, confusing titles like she never even read the org chart. It's crazy. This wasn't even behind closed doors. It was live. It was in the open for the whole country to see. So instead of projecting authority, Nancy Pelosi looked frail, confused, and let's be honest, guys, just completely unfit. This is why we need term limits, right? This is a plain example. Now, here's a question that Americans are asking. If she can't even get through a speech in broad daylight without stumbling over her words, how could she possibly have ever been trusted with the nuclear codes, with our laws, and with the future of this country, right? That's the story, folks. Omar on one side, facing deportation, whispers, and collapsing under President Trump's pressure. Nancy Pelosi, she's on the other hand, slurring and stumbling like a late night comedy act. Together, they show the decay of a party that used to wield power with an iron grip. Now, they can't even hold themselves together in public. Now, here's where Nancy Pelosi's collapse went completely from embarrassing to just downright humiliating. Because it wasn't just the slurring, the stumbling, the endless excuse me's. It was a simple fact that the crowd wouldn't even let her get away with it. In fact, Nancy Pelosi, yes, she got heckled, folks. People were openly making fun of her, mocking her, laughing under their breath, even some shouting back as she tried to mumble through her little remarks. Now, think about that for a second, okay? This is a woman who used to be the most powerful Democrat in Washington, Speaker of the House. Now she can't even get through a speech on the Capitol lawn without getting laughed at. Guys, this is a free fall if I've ever seen one. Once those clips hit the internet, oh, it's over. Forget it. The memes wrote themselves. Social media lit up with people asking, how many soda pops did Nancy have? Was she drunk? Was she tired? Was it something stronger? Like, whatever the cause was, Americans, they saw what they've always suspected. This is a woman clinging to power. She's like 199 years old, okay? She's clinging to power long after she lost the sharpness to even handle it. And instead of looking strong, she looked fragile. Instead of looking commanding, she looked confused. And for a politician who built her brand on control, that is the ultimate humiliation. Now, here's the real kicker, guys. Nancy Pelosi, her collapse didn't just happen in isolation. At the exact same time, Ilhan Omar, she was having her own televised meltdown. Ilhan Omar panicking on CNN, Pelosi slurring at the Capitol, two disasters in the same week. This is not coincidence. This is what happens when the pressure of President Trump's America hits the Democrats head on. They just can't handle it. So let's go ahead and put the pieces together, shall we? Pelosi, heckled and mocked, stripped of the aura of power she once had. Omar, doubling down on smears and accusations, her approval ratings tanking, and deportation whispers getting louder and louder. This isn't just about individual failures. This is about the face of the Democratic Party falling apart in real time. Pelosi symbolizes the corruption. Omar symbolizes the radicalism. Both of them in the same week, they're showing America exactly why the party is collapsing. So this is why I'm calling it a dual disaster. You got two leaders, two humiliations, one message. The Democrats are unraveling, and while the left scrambles to try and spin this thing, the American people, we're already making up our minds. They've already seen through weakness. They've seen enough corruption. And I think that we're all ready to just stick with the strength of Trump. Here's where the contrast really becomes crystal clear. Because while Ilhan Omar is melting down on CNN and Nancy Pelosi is slurring through her speech, President Donald J. Trump, He is moving with precision and strength. He's not wasting time with excuses. He is taking action, and the results are shaking the Democratic Party to its core. First, immigration fraud. Now, for years, Americans have whispered about Ilhan Omar's shady past, allegations of marrying her own brother to cheat the system. You got loopholes, lies, corruption buried under political protection. Under Biden, nothing was ever investigated. Never. But now, under President Trump, the walls are closing in. He made it very clear. American citizenship is not up for sale. It's not a scam. It is not a loophole. It's sacred. And if you got it fraudulently, you can lose it. This is why Ilhan Omar is panicking. This is also why she's lashing out on live TV, because she already knows Trump is absolutely serious and she knows her time may be running out. But Trump's not just tackling immigration fraud. No, he's actually taking direct aim at the swamp. And Nancy Pelosi is the perfect example. Now, for decades, she's been at the top of the insider game. Somehow, every time a big tech regulation was about to pass, or maybe a defense contract was about to hit, Nancy Pelosi and her husband, Paul Pelosi, were mysteriously already buying or selling the right stocks. Coincidence? Please. Everybody already knows it's insider trading dressed up as savvy investing. Now, Trump is calling it out. He's making it clear that the days of Congress lining their pockets while the American people struggle are over. No more special advantages, no more secret trades, no more Pelosi-style corruption. Under his leadership, the playing field is being leveled. Now, let's step back for a second and let's look at the contrast here, because this is dramatic. It's crazy. Trump, sharp, decisive, focused on protecting Americans and cleaning up corruption. Pelosi, slurring her way through a speech, confusing Adam Schiff with every little title under the sun, heckled in public, and still under fire for stock deals that made her millions. Omar, she's panicking on live TV. Her approval ratings are collapsing, and she's facing deportation calls that are growing louder and louder every single day. Now, this is the split screen that America's watching right now. On the one side, a strong president restoring order, but on the other side, a party collapsing under its own scandals, corruption, and incompetence. And the American people already know which side that they're on. So here's where the story really takes an even darker turn, because the media, the so-called guardians of democracy, they're absolutely panicking. CNN thought that they could just control the narrative. They thought that if Caitlin Collins tossed Omar a few softball questions, that she would just kind of like glide through, and then they would move on. But then what happened? What happened instead? Omar melted down, doubling down on smears, rambling through excuses, and exposing her own weakness live on air. CNN tried to end the interview as fast as possible, but folks, it was already too late. Millions of people had already seen the panic in her eyes. They heard her defensiveness in her voice. The damage was already done. Let's not forget about Nancy Pelosi. The media knows exactly how bad she looked. Stumbling, slurring through her picnic presser. I mean, but what did they do? They clipped it, they chopped it up, they ran the friendliest headlines that they could find. But no amount of editing can erase the internet, guys. The full clips, those went viral. Americans already saw Nancy Pelosi repeat, excuse me, over and over and over, botched Adam Schiff's title, and freaking, how did she manage to get heckled at the same time out of all of this? It's crazy. That humiliation, it is permanent. No spin cycle can wash that away. So think about that for a second, okay? For decades, legacy media news outlets, they have run cover for these people. They buried the scandals. They twisted the headlines. They acted as the PR wing for the Democratic Party. But now, they can't even keep up. The cracks are too big. The stories are too raw. The viral clips are too powerful. I mean, they're knocking TikTok, they're knocking X and Twitter. And hey, if it weren't for these platforms, we wouldn't be able to get some of the truth going viral like we've seen lately. So even their best attempts at cover up, they fail instantly. People don't trust them. And without the media's protection, Democrats are left exposed. They're naked, they're vulnerable, and they're collapsing in public view. So this kind of leads us to the bigger picture. This isn't just about one Omar meltdown or one Pelosi slurring disaster. This is a pattern. The Democrats are collapsing from the inside out. Omar is facing deportation talk, her national approval ratings circling the drain. Nancy Pelosi is humiliated, heckled, and still under fire for insider trading scandals that never seem to go away. These aren't isolated incidents at all. These are symptoms of a party that's on life support. Meanwhile, President Donald J. Trump sits in the Oval Office firm and steady. He's cracking down on immigration fraud. He is putting an end to insider corruption. He's showing the American people that order, accountability, and strength have returned to Washington. And while he leads, Democrats stumble, slur, and panic like actors in their own political obituary. Now, folks, September 22nd, 2025 will go down as the turning point. The week when the Democratic machine showed the entire world how weak, divided, and corrupt it really is. Omar crumbled, Pelosi slurred, the media panicked, and the American people watched every second of it unfold. Absolutely hilarious. Now, this isn't just a bad week for Democrats. It is the unraveling of an entire political empire. And while Trump back in office, back in power, the collapse is only accelerating. The Democrats aren't just losing, they're being exiled from relevance. And the people are the ones that are finally winning. So remember this day, guys. Share this message because the meltdown of Omar and the humiliation of Pelosi, they're not accidents. They're the natural end of a corrupt system finally breaking under its own weight. Like, subscribe, share this video far and wide because the truth cannot be hidden anymore and America deserves to see every second of it. We'll see you next time.